Hello friends, this is Kuntal Chakraborty and today we are going to cover a new topic. This is SIR. SIR stands for Special Intensive Revision. Okay, Special Intensive Revision, as you can see here, the full form is written. Okay, and it stands for Special Intensive Revision. Okay, let me take another color. I think green is better. So we all know what SIR is now because lots of talks are happening around us in many TV channels. Okay, so we are already aware of it. Now the question is, what is SIR, and if we need to read this topic, study this topic from the point of view of our upcoming examinations like miscellaneous, how can we break down this topic? Okay, look, I have you can see here easily that I have already broken this topic into 4 points. The first point is what is SIR, then who is responsible for SIR, I mean who is going to conduct SIR across India, across India, and where that election commission gets power, okay, to conduct this. And the third one is that the SIR of electoral, so I have written here a question, you can see over here. The SIR of electoral roles is essential for electoral integrity, so it is a question critically analyzed. That means the benefits or why it is important, that is also important to be discussed. Okay, the fourth one is the challenges of the SIR. Okay, the challenges SIR has put. Okay, these are also important. So you can see that it's a overall 6-page note. I have written this note, okay, in my own words, collected first I collected points from internet, after that I wrote it. Okay, so now I'm going to discuss this and I think it's going to help you a lot for your examination. Okay, so first, what is the definition of SIR? Definition stands like definition means it's not a very formal definition, it's just like what is SIR, its full form, etc. So the SIR stands for the Special Intensive Revision. Special Intensive Revision of what? The Special Intensive Revision of Electoral Rolls. We will see that this process is conducted by the Election Commission. So the sole authority for conductance of this process is ECI, the Election Commission of India. Okay, the Election Commission of India, and I would suggest you to write the full form ECI in the actual final examination. Okay, don't use the abbreviated form because it may create bad impression in the mind of your examiner. Okay, so don't do that. Okay, always try to write the full form. The basic aim of this process is purification of electoral rolls. So the purification of electoral rolls is the basic objective of various constituency. And the SIR basically aims at removing illegal and ineligible and ghost voter. Ghost voters means many times what happens, people do not remove the names of the deceased voter, the voters who have already died. Okay, they do not remove it because they want to use their names, okay, in favor of their election result. I mean, sometimes what happens, people fraudulently cast their votes in the name of those ghost voters. Okay, it happens, especially where a party is in majority, they forcefully do this kind of things. It happens. Okay, you can call this kind of thing as rigging. Okay, rigging. Okay. Scientific rigging is also a very important term. If you want, you can use it because it was very famous during the period of CPIM, and CPIM was in power. People used to say that CPM was very good at scientific rigging. I am not going into that because this is not politically motivated video. I am just saying that you can use the term rigging as well. Okay, scientific, don't use this term scientific. Okay, and you not to use this. So the first one is the illegal, ineligible, and the ghost voters. Ineligible voters means suppose someone has married, a girl has married to a person, and he has already gone to his in-laws house. Now when they go to in-laws house, they occasionally don't remove their names from their parental place, I mean the electoral rolls of the parental place. And okay, so this kind of thing also happen in India, and those names actually remains electoral rolls as ineligible voters. Okay, so they are ineligible in that sense. So they are illegal voters are also there. Illegal voters means sometimes what happens, the people who comes from Bangladesh or other countries in India, they also get voting rights because fraudulently, actually the what happened, fraudulently many political parties get them ECI, it's not ECI, EPIC, it means the voter ID card, okay, and get them or their names registered in a particular electoral roll, a particular constituency. Okay, so they are also illegal voters. Okay, so in this way the voters are categorized, I mean the illegal, ineligible, ghost vote, etc. And the SIR is actually aiming at removing their names from the electoral rolls. Okay, so this is the basic objective. And it also wants to update means suppose there is a person whose name is not registered in his electoral roll, but he is eligible because he has already crossed 18. Okay, he is either 18 or above it, so he is now entitled to be registered in a particular electoral roll, but due to some reason, I don't know, his name is missing. If his name is missing, then the ECI has to update his name too. Okay, so this is also a process, this is also a aim of this SIR. So SIR stands for the special intensive revision. These are the goals of SIR as I have written here. So now I assume that you understood the goal of SIR at least. Okay, so and updating it with the new voters who are eligible after being 18 or more, or migration from other parts of the country. Okay, sometimes what happen, people who are migrant workers or laborers, they go to some place and sometimes they also settle there. Okay, so after being settled there, they should register their name in those areas and the electoral rolls of those constituencies and remove their name from the previous constituencies. This is also important thing, and SI is also about that. Okay, so SI is also going to update their names in this coming process or in the current electoral roll. So that is also important. So now the second thing is we have already known that this is it is ECI, Election Commission of India, who is empowered to conduct this SIR. But the question is where it gets lots of power to do this from. So now we are going to see that what are the major sources of power of the ECI, Election Commission of India, to carry out SIR. Okay. So the two major sources from where the ECI derives its authority to conduct SIR are the Constitution of India, you can see, okay, the Constitution of India, and the Representation of the People Act 1950. So let me take the red color, that is more appropriate for this kind of thing. Okay, so the first one is the Constitution of India, this is the source one, and the second source is the Representation of People Acts of 1950. So these are the two major, you can say, statute. Constitution is the basic or the, you can say, the basic law of the land, because all other laws derives its validity from Constitution. Okay, so Constitution is the first basic law which gives or empowers the ECI to do this, and the second one is the Representation of People Act 1950. Okay, these two things are important so far as this SI is concerned. Okay, so now I am going to give some details of this ECI, these powers. The Constitution under Article U/M means under Article 324. You should remember Article 324 empowers the ECI to supervise and control the preparation of the electoral rolls and to conduct free and fair elections. So Election Commission gets this power from Article 324 of the Constitution. So it actually gives its two power. Okay, this Article 324 gives two kinds of power to this ECI, and these are supervise and control the preparation of electoral rolls. So it is related to the electoral rolls, the preparation and supervision of that preparation. So these two powers are generally opted from the Article 320. Okay. On the other hand, the Constitution under Article 326 provides every citizen aged 18 or above the right of universal adult suffrage. Universal adult suffrage is basically the right to vote, which is meaningless without a pure and genuine electoral laws. You can use this word too, error free, genuine, error free. This kind of words or adjectives are very much useful, or you can say suitable, most fitting. Okay, so in this line. So here I am saying that under Article 326 we get the right to vote, that means universal adult suffrage. Whoever is 18 or above, he has the right. Okay, and the election commission is also the institution, the sole institution who is responsible to ensure that. Okay, so these two things are very important. These two rights or these two articles actually empowers the election commission to conduct this SIR. Now you have to see RPA Act, RPA 1950. RPA means Representation of People Act 1950. Another important source of its authority, it is authority. The another important source of its authority is RPA Act 1950. The section 16 I have already mentioned. I have also mentioned 16 sections, section 16, section 19. Okay, so I have mentioned all the sections. If possible, you can remember it. If it is possible, if you cannot, don't try to do that. Otherwise, if you make any mistake in mentioning those sections, it will actually create wrong impression. It will be not going to go against you. So if possible, you can mention. If it is not possible for you, just mention the powers, okay, which RPA gives to this ECI. That is also sufficient. This section 16 of RPA Act mandates the ECI to exclude non-citizens from electoral rolls. Okay, non-citizens, who are non-citizens. Okay, so the non-citizen has to be excluded from these electoral rolls or the electoral rolls, and it is mandated by section 16 of RPA Act. Okay, the second section is section 19 of RPA Act. It can include either citizens aged 18 or above who are ordinary residents of the constituency. That means section 16 is related to exclusion. Okay, exclusion, and section 19 is related to inclusion. That means if election commission find anyone who is eligible to be included, then it can also include him or her, and this power of inclusion he gets from this RPA Act 1950 section 19. Now you have to go to see section 21. Section 21 of RPA Act, Representation of People 1950, enters the ECI with the task of revision of electoral rolls. Okay, so the section 21 is all about. So what is about section 21? It is about the revision of the electoral rolls. So these are the major sources of this SIR, of election commission for SIR. So they can derive their power from these two major sources. One is Constitution and second one is RPA Act. 16, 19 and 21 section of RPA Act are important in this regard. Okay, so I think you have understood this. Now I am going to the third point. The question says, I have put a question here. Okay, it's an imaginary question. Okay, and you can expect a question like this in your examination, final examination. This SIR, that means the special intensive revision. The special intensive revision of electoral rolls is essential for electoral integrity. So this is the question, and I have discussed this question, and it is critically analyzed or examined. Now this is the question. Okay, now I am going to write the answer. You can see the answer. To see size wise, or if we see size wise, you can also write if we analyze or see size wise, India is the largest democracy in the country. See, size wise, India is the largest democracy in the world. Okay, in the largest democracy in the world, but in order to become quality wise a great democracy too, we have to strengthen certain parameters of it, of which a pure and genuine electoral roll is one. Okay, so this is the first stanza. I have written a short introduction. That means that our country India is size wise the greatest or the largest democracy in the world, but it's two. But there are a lot to do to become a quality wise democracy, quality wise great democracy or greatest democracy in the world. Okay, so we have to do a lot of things because there are a lot of parameters which actually you can say show or portrays whether your democracy is quality wise good or not. Okay, like the freedom of press, like the freedom of people, I mean freedom of speech and expression, poverty, education. So there are a lot of things, because if you are not powerful, if you don't have freedom to express your thoughts, expression, etc., always you are subjected to some power or the incumbent government, then you will never be able to cast your vote freely, and it will not make sure your democracy as it is expected to be. That's why these qualities, or you can say these parameters, are very important to signify or to verify whether your democracy is sound or not. Okay, so that's why I have written that this country, I mean our country India, is size wise, or from the perspective of size, or from in terms of size, it is the greatest democracy in the world, but the quality wise you cannot say, and that's why I have written this stanza. Okay, so quality wise it is far to go. Okay, we have far to go quality wise to become the greatest democracy in the world. Now, to make sure that we are also on the way of becoming quality wise greatest democracy in the world, the electoral role is very important. Okay, so as you can see in the next stanza, in a parliamentary representative democracy, people cast their votes to elect their representatives so that so that the person can raise their concerns in the legislature. Now if the voter list itself is not pure and doctored means manipulated. Okay, negatively manipulated with ill intention, doctored with ill intention, the question of the true reflection of the voices of voters in the legislature is pointless. Okay, and here is where the SIR gains importance. That means if we are living in a representative democracy, okay, and if your electoral roll is not genuine, okay, it is not the true reflection of the actual picture of a constituency, then what will happen? The representative what we have chosen, whom we have sent to parliament or legislature, he will never be able to reflect or raise the true voice of us. Okay, that means the true voice of the people who are residing in that particular electoral constituency, which that representative belongs to. Okay, that is the main important thing to understand. So therefore, electoral rolls, or you can say error-free, genuine electoral rolls, is very important in this regard. So here I have written that therefore the first target of the SIR should be preparing a error-free and updated voter list. It has to remove all ineligible voters who are invalid due to they are either diseased. Diseased means who are no more means died, already died. Persons who have already died, who are no more in this world. Okay, so we have to remove their name now. So that's why I have written that due to they are either diseased or permanently emigrated to some other places on account of marriage or job. So emigration can take place due to two reasons. First one is marriage, second one is job. So job related migration also happens in country, marriage related migration also happens in our country. So these two things, I mean both this kind of migration should be taken into account while the election commission prepares the electoral rolls, okay, or wrongly registered. Wrongly registered is also actually an important issue, because sometimes we have seen that people are wrongly registered, mistakenly some wrong names are registered in particular electoral rolls, so that also happens. We have to remove these chances of these kind of things also, okay. So alongside these, the Election Commission of India (EIC) has to include the newly eligible voters who have attained 18 years of age or immigrated permanently from some other parts, or somehow failed to get registered earlier. Suppose the registration is going on in your place, okay, and you have failed it. So the election commission must see whether there is anyone who failed to register his name in the previous process, okay. So their names should be registered in this ongoing process, okay. That is also important. And another issue is that migration means, suppose someone has immigrated in your place where this process is going on, those people has to be taken care of, their names has to be registered there, okay. Suppose they have settled after migration, they have settled in that place permanently, their name should be taken into that document, okay. So this is the process. So these are the things the election commission must do, okay. And this is why this electoral essential, it is essential for the electoral integrity. Now in the second third para, another important aspect to make sure electoral integrity is maintaining public trust, okay. So first one is that you have to make sure that your electoral roll, I mean the register, is pure, okay, unadulterated, pure, error free. And the second thing which is very important for democracy is the trust of public in the process of election, okay, because ultimately it is an election which you can say make sure that yes, you have a democracy in our country. It is one of the most important process, a pillar of democracy, and if it is not flawless, then you cannot assure that you have a good democracy. That's why public trust in this process is very important, okay. You have to keep that thing up also, okay. So another important aspect to make sure electoral integrity is maintaining public trust in the system. To keep up public trust in the electoral process, a trustworthy above suspicion, okay, above suspicion electoral rolls is essential because it safeguards the democratic legitimacy and makes the phrase "one person, one vote" a reality in letter and spirit. That means what? Look, when public has trust, okay, in the process, then this there is a saying actually in our country, is called "one person, one vote." Then only it will be a actually reality, okay, because suppose a person is voting in some place, in some district or in a constituency, let's say in Chandannagar, okay, and after migration now he has registered his name in some place in Bihar. Now if that person is allowed to cast his votes in both the constituencies, then this saying that "one person, one vote" or this goal, or you can say this phrase, will be invalid, will be invalid. So to make it valid, to make it a reality in letter and spirit, we have to ensure that thing also, that one person is registered in a single constituency, not in 2 or 3 constituencies. That is very important in this regard, because it safeguards the democratic legitimacy and makes the phrase "one person, one vote" a reality in letter and spirit. So this is where I am ending the first question. The first question means the SAR of electrical rolls. SAR of electrical rolls. SAR means, you know already, SAR of electrical rolls, essential for electoral integrity. So here I have written about electoral integrity, how we can bring about electoral integrity in our country. Now the second question comes, discuss the challenges of the SIR. Okay, so it is about challenges. So we'll see here what are the challenges this SIR going to pose, okay, going to place in front of public. Recently, in the process of the SIR, which has already taken off, some serious concerns have cropped up. Cropped up means coming up suddenly. coming up suddenly. I mean, some things has come up suddenly. Okay, that means cropped up. So recently in the process of the SIR, which has already taken off, some serious concerns have cropped up. The first issue is the risk of disenfranchisement. Disenfranchisement means it may happen that some people who are genuinely a voter of a particular constituency, but since he is not being able to produce the valid documents because of many reasons, we'll see all the reasons later on, his name is being excluded. Okay, so it may happen also. Okay, so this is a fear of disenfranchisement. That means after that he'll not be able to cast his vote, so he will be deprived of his right of voting. Okay, so this is a right to vote. Okay, so this is a fear, so it can pose great threat to the person, that person particularly, or a vast majority of people, okay, in country. So the first issue in the risk of disenfranchisement of Gramin voters, especially it is related to Gramin voters because they are most vulnerable. Why? The EIC, the Election Commission of India, has made a decision that they would not consider traditionally accepted documents like APICs. APICs means that voter ID card, ration cards, Aadhaar card, etc. as primary proof of certain aspects of SIR. What are they? And this has popped up as a biggest controversy lately. Okay, now what is that? Now in the course of a recent ongoing SIR in Bihar, where the general election, legislative election, is about to take place a few months later, the EIC is seeking various old documents from residents as their proof of citizenship, date of birth, parental birth, etc. And it has created somewhat tension among the citizens of Bihar. So what is happening now? This SIR is going on in Bihar, okay, and the Election Commission is now seeking lot of I can say weird kind of documents from the people, okay, as proof of their birthplace or residence certificate, etc. Okay, so parental birth, etc. And now those people who are vulnerable, like SC, STs, women who have migrated after their marriage, and people who are very poor, illiterate, those who don't have, destitute, don't have much money to get those documents, to collect those documents. Now they are most they are under threat. Why? Because it might happen that they are going to lose their you can say voting right. Okay, so this is now a great tension in Bihar, and this is the reason of the tension in Bihar. Okay, so many consider this as a threat to their citizenship and their right to vote. And it's true that in a country like India, where a lot of people, illiterate people, poor people, destitute people live there. There this kind of very complex process, which is very difficult to understand for them. I think is quite problematic actually. Okay, so Election Commission should actually do or take some measures to make it more easy for them. Okay, otherwise I don't know to what extent it's going to be successful. Okay, if you exclude a vast majority of people who are the real voter, who are the actual decider of the fate of this democracy, if they are excluded, I don't know exactly what is going to happen. Okay, so let's see. Multiple vulnerable groups and marginalized communities, for example SCs, STs, okay, migrant workers, poor and illiterate individuals, and especially women who are married and currently living in their in-laws' house after migration, are panic stricken. Okay, panic stricken means frightened, okay, scared. Some of the documents being sought from them to complete different aspects of this verification process are very old, even belonging to early 80s. I mean, they are sometimes asked to show the documents of pre-80s or pre-90s. Okay, so I don't know exactly how they would finally be able to show those documents. I don't know, but let's see what is going to happen. They find it almost impossible for them to produce because of many reasons, like some did not take birth in registered medical institution. Okay, this is one reason. One, we know in India now, sometimes what happens, people takes birth in daima house kind of place. Okay, I mean they don't go to hospital, just take birth in their home. Okay, with the assistance of daimas like that. Daimas means midwives most probably. Okay, so they are I mean this kind of thing happen in India. Okay, and normally they don't get any certificate because they are not taking birth in any institution, medical registered institution. So now if you ask a birth certificate from them, how they be able to produce it? It's not possible for them. Some lack money, okay, resources to collect those documents. Look, documents collection is very hectic because we have to pay a lot of money to the government officials sometimes, or you have to do a lot of paperwork. Okay, it requires a lot of money. People who are very destitute, I mean they are destitute, and people who are very poor, it is going to be very difficult for them. They will not be able to collect those documents most probably. Okay, so it's very problematic for them. Some may not have resident proof with them. Okay, it also happens because after people used to live in joint family after the death of their father or their parents, they sometimes don't register, or they we can say pass on the name of their properties to their progenies, okay, in a legal manner. Okay, sometimes happen because they want to avoid that registration fees, and in this way now, if it continues for 100 years or like that, they actually which is called they loses all they lost the documents, the valid documents of their residential code, etc. This happens in our country, and in that case these people are going to face a lot of problems also. Some migrant workers are now in their native place while the verification is going on in Bihar. It is also a problem. Suppose some migrant workers who are working in Bihar, okay, or some people are working in some other places from Bihar, or some people are working in Bihar from other places. It may happen that they will not be able to show their proper residential certificate because it is not with them right now. Okay, so it may also happen. So the situation is worse in case of married. The situation is worse in case of married women. Why? Because they generally in our culture, what we do, we after marriage women migrates to his in-laws house. Okay, so since many of them has migrated from their distant parental places and now don't have their birth certificates with them, and after migration they often don't collect their birth certificates. Nowadays it happens because now people are much aware, but the people who are now 60s or 70s, in the age group of 60s 70s, they don't have, they may not have those things. Okay, it's very obvious or misprobable thing because they are old people, and in that time it was not in the culture, or in the, you can say, in the tradition. People generally were not aware of those things at that time. So now if you ask them to produce their those certificates, even many people don't have their marriage certificate. Now what will they do? This is also important question. In addition to the production of valid documents, the burden of proof of being a legitimate voter of a particular constituency has now been made the responsibility of that concerned voter instead of the ECI. This is really overwhelming for many poor district person. Now what happened now? They have shifted the burden of proof. That means now you have to prove that you are the resident or the legitimate voter of that particular constituency. Okay, which is actually the job of ECI. So I don't think that is a very good step, because many poor people not be able to actually prove that. Okay, it will be very overwhelming task for them. Okay. On the other side, this process involves huge expenditure due to, now I have already discussed here up to now from the starting to now to this point. Okay, I have discussed the problem related to the voter election, etc. Now I am going to point out some other aspects of this, the aspects of its expenditure, etc. On the other side, this process, so here from expenditure related issues are going to come. Okay. It will be discussed. On the other side, this process involves huge expenditure due to monumental logistical support, okay, and inclusion of vast numbers of BLOs. Vast numbers of BLOs means what? BLOs means booth level officers. They are required to go now to door to door to conduct door to door survey. They are now going at the door of the pupil and asking or verifying the document, etc. So to do this kind of things, and especially when it is Bihar or any state of India, people are huge. The number of people is huge. Therefore, we have to employ a lot of BLOs. So therefore, it is going to be a very, you can say, costly activities. Very costly activities. It will involve a lot of expenditure. Okay. So it huge expenditure due to its monumental logistical support and inclusion of vast numbers of BLOs. Currently, the process is underway in Bihar, and the next Bihar Assembly election is just a few months later. Hence, the timeline is short and a deadline is close, for which the entire process, you just see this line, it should be placed here. Okay, I have written it because it is not being legible here, that's why I have written this here. Okay, but it should have been here, so I have already pointed this with this arrow. Okay, so for which the entire process having been finished hurriedly, this is hurriedly, could end up with lots of errors. Okay, now the process, so this para is regarding errors. Why? Because of hurry. Look, the BR election is knocking at the door. Okay. Is the BR election, assembly election knocking at the door, and now within this short time period, the election commission is bound to finish this process. Okay, so election commission might make a lot of hurry. Okay, and in this hurry, it may end up with a lot of errors. So there is a possibility of error. Okay, so that's why this para is dedicated to errors and hurry. And the fourth para is political. It is political in nature. It is, I think, not much important from our exam points of view, because in examination we try to remain neutral all the time. Neutrality is the most important thing, the pivotal. Therefore, we should not write this. I think we should not write this para in examination. But I have discussed it because it is also a very important issue. It is also a very important issue. Okay, so it is also a very important issue. Therefore, I have written it. So look what is happening here. Another aspect is regarding its political motivation. Opposition has raised a concern that because of the proximity of Bihar election, the SIR might be channelized in a way that maximum benefits could be brought to the political party which the ECI wants to support. Okay, so that means what? That means actually the oppositions are trying to say that the ECI under the influence of BJP may conduct this process in a way that is going to give the maximum benefit to BJP. Okay, so this is the actual the point what they are raising right now, because they are saying that there are a lot of communities. As we know, the Bihar caste-based vote is a very important feature of Bihar election. So you can say that this BJP, as they know which section of the voters are not going to vote for them, the election commission may try to disenfranchise them, or may try to cut out them from this election process by depriving them their voting rights. Okay, by showing some reasons like they are not being able to produce their valid documents. So this may also happen. It is their concern or it is their fear. So now I have written all the 4 points here, and if you want, you can take the, which is called the screenshot, or you can write with your hand if you want. Okay, this is a very important topic for upcoming examination, and I'm going to end this video here. I will definitely come with some new video with some new topic in my next class. Thank you.